A shelf where all the broken things were piled. The stories told in whispers and in scars. Brought you here beneath these waiting stars. Not for a fix or just to soothe the ache, but for the chance that something new could break. So let the silence hold you like a seam where every thread of hope begins to gleam. This is the in-between. Welcome to the butterfly room, where healing's not an end, it is a tune. You learn to hum in gentle afternoons. Transformation blooms from a cocoon of questions. You'll be led to see the colors waiting in the thread. Welcome to the butterfly room. We'll hold the lens up to the hidden part, the dormant art that's beating in your heart. We'll map the change, the subtle, steady turn, the lessons that the aftermath can learn. Not to erase the lines that make your map, but to unfold the wings and cross the gap and watch the old shell fragile drift away, making space for the new light of day. In this alchemical space, welcome to the butterfly room.
That's right. Welcome to the Butterfly Room. We've got Miss Toya with us here, and she's got all kinds of interesting information she's going to share because this is all about us healing and all along those lines. So I'm going to bring our host with the most on to the show. She's always doing great things. She's an amazing lady, and I think she's on location today and everything like that. So we're definitely looking forward to this great show, and she's going to have some amazing insights and some amazing lessons learned and all along those lines. But I'm going to step aside and let Miss Toya have her moment. I know that we've got Madam Butterfly, and of course I'll be back later on as well. But we've got this great, amazing show, and she's had some amazing guests, including her guest that she had the last time she was on, which was the Father's Day guest, and it involved her very own pops and all along those lines. So it was a great show, and I definitely look forward to this one as well. So you're going to step aside, but I'll be back shortly, but definitely looking forward to another powerful episode of the Butterfly Room.
Good evening, Mark. Thank you so much for the warm welcome as always. Yes, I am on location. In this heat wave in New Jersey, I am melting. As you see, we're not going to be on here long, but we want to make sure that for anyone that's been following us, we're going to conclude. As you know, every day we post something. And what I had been posting this week is peace. One of the things that I did as I was running this substance use program is every day we had something to open our clinical day with music. And as you know, this week there was a lot of songs that I provided as well as some other things. We're just going to do a follow-up because, you know, every 2 weeks we're here at 8. So this episode 16 is called Wake Up. But I just want to give a disclaimer. I guess I exposed my dyslexia last week. I kept saying a positive to a negative. So I'm a little dyslexic. So I just wanted to correct that from episode 15. One of the things that my father said, you always take a negative and make a positive. So of course, as anything, we have to make ourselves better. We have to look at ourselves. I just wanted to correct that. I do have dyslexia and I'm going to correct that. It is a negative to a positive. So Mark, bring in Madam Butterfly, because now today with the Wake Up, we're going to talk about this jade and we're going to give life application of this acronym. So bring Madam Butterfly in, and we are so blessed to have her this evening.
She may have stepped aside, but we'll see if she pops in and everything like that. But I'll bring her in. But I know she.
Oh, there she is. Yes, and the other thing, do you have that acronym up here? We can bring it up because I guess we can start until she comes on. We can just review the 4 stages of jade. If you have that, Mark, we can just pop that up with all 4 letters.
I'll see if I can get those 4 letters because that was from last week's episode. So I'll see if I can find those episodes.
But how you doing down there in North Kakalaki?
We're burning up here in North Carolina as well. It's definitely hot as all get out. I think that we got up to like 103, 104, 105, something that was ridiculous and everything. So I just stepped outside to just check my mail, and I didn't even think I went to the garbage can because it was definitely too hot and everything. Yeah, that heat ain't no joke. That heat is no joke whatsoever. So I'm sitting there going like, this heat is just too much of a pain, and all along those lines. So I'm sitting there going like, this is just crazy, and all in that kind of way. Because I'm sitting there going like, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but it's
I'm
too hot.
melting. Like I said, I'm melting. But do you hear the music in the background? I just want to know because I'm on location. We have one of the sisters here. She's raising money for this national queen pageant. So do you hear the music in the background? We have the DJ downstairs, and I'm on location. You don't
I
hear
do
it
not
that
hear,
bad?
I do not hear the music in the background.
Okay,
So
great. So that's what. So now I can relax now because sometimes those microphones pick up everything. So I'm just grateful for that. But
sometimes
what I wanted to do, because we're going to be here less than an hour today, hopefully Dr. Diamond can pop in. But basically, we want to do application of jade, and what jade is, it means that no longer justifying, arguing, defending, and explaining. Because right now, where we are in the era of peace, and as you know, there's a lot of distraction, as we say on the couch, we deal with the current events. And as we know that now, wake up. And the reason why I brought this up, it came on my spirit. I remember the movie School Days. And remember when Lawrence Fishburne, he came out at the end, wake up, wake up. I feel that we are in that era right now. Wake up, people. And what it is as we had our previous guest, Markia Ashley, she said, you know what? Spiritual suicide is not the dangers of not knowing who you are. So right now, there are a lot of distractions in this world. So now as we apply jade, just think about it before Madam Butterfly comes in. Have you had a week that you had to apply that jade, or do you have an instance of, since we aired that show, that you had to apply that application of that acronym?
you know, sometimes we are judgmental and things along those lines. So definitely, sometimes you got to put that judgmental in check, and some of the other things that are part of Jade, because we can all be folks that can be good beings, but we can also have our own faults and everything like that. So definitely, we have to put ourselves in check sometimes, because I mean, we all have our judgmental moments. Even you might look at somebody in the streets and think that they are suffering, and they might not even be suffering as much as you think they are, or they might not be as criminally minded as you are stereotyping
Book,
them.
right? How you say, don't judge a book by its cover. Thank you, Mark, for
Exactly.
that. I think that we get that a lot. I know from myself as being a person who's of lighter skin, and sometimes we don't think about it. I was talking to a coworker in reference to that, as far as her being from a different country. She said, you American women. And that's a common theme. And I'm glad that I have a circle that I can actually talk about those things, because I never
Right.
saw it as an issue. But when you have to think, when someone comes to America, America has a lot of opportunities. And one of the things that we are spoiled. I have a chihuahua. She spits out treats. So imagine you coming from a third world country or somewhere where there's poverty. Now you're coming here. We're just taking things for granted. Think about the light switches. I know in some countries you have to prepay for your electric. Imagine you had to pay your $50 in therms, and then once
Right.
it's out, and save us on the weekend. How am I gonna get my therms? So that's
Right.
where I'm at right now. And that's why I said we all need to wake up, because right now there's going to be things in our lives. There's a lot of losses. As you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of funerals. There's a lot of things that we don't want to happen. But I know that as we get up in age, it's expected. Sometimes family is going to have to bury someone who's older versus younger. So that's where
Mhm.
we are. And today we're going to talk about the peace. But I'm going to say, since Madam Butterfly hasn't got on now, let's talk about this jade thing. Justifying. I think that for folks that I have talked to, I'm just going to say on the couch, working with individuals, and like I said, 26 years in the mental health field. Wow. And I think the reason why I chose this topic is because when you sit there as a young person, you observe. One of the things that I said on several shows is that there were little anecdotals that I didn't understand. Cut your nose to spite your face. You're living in a glass house, don't go stones. I really didn't understand that until I became an adult. When I was a child, my focus was on school. But just now, I was in physical therapy the other day, this week, talking to a young lady. She had graduated and she's coming there for summer. I was enthused about that. I was hungry. She said, oh, no, Miss Toya. Oh, I just work here on the summers. I said, I've never seen you. She said, I'm here in the summer. This is my summer job. I like the eagerness. So that means that she was locked in. Then you meet some of them, they don't know what they're actually doing. So again, as we say, there's no big mamas, but we have to basically put on these platforms what can be done. Instead of sitting back, because as you know, the kids say, you're being weird. We didn't say we were being weird, because they don't understand the struggle. Think about it. As Dr. Diamond says, our history is being taken. So if a child says being weird, that means that they don't know what we went through. Have you experienced that in your community health center, that they don't know what you're talking of, or it's just you get
Well, not only that,
your
but
face?
there are stereotypes and everything like that. We just recently hired a program manager and a new executive director. The new executive director was actually a young lady. I think she's probably in her early 40s and all along those lines. But the program manager, he's in his late 20s. So some people may assume that he doesn't know the job as well as he does, but he's had a lot of experiences. He was actually doing work in the arts field in Raleigh and other places when he was like a teenager. So he's actually got more experience than some people may be giving him credit for and everything like that. Because, sometimes we will look at a person's age and think that they are not having the experience in order to do the job, but they might actually have more experiences than some of the established folks in terms of age and everything like that. So that's something that I know in talking to trying to think of his name, John Cope. And talking to him, I know that some people are probably going to be looking at him going like, he's only like 28 and something like that. So how are you going to know this job if you don't even have the background and everything like that? So there'll be some people that will probably be making stereotypes about him and all along those lines because of him being of a certain age range and everything like that.
Thank you, Mark, for that, because I think that we missed that point. I was always thirsty for knowledge, and I just know that, every day is a school day, and I always felt that if I didn't learn something in a day, it wouldn't make sense. As we talk about the butterfly, I significantly chose this symbol because as we morph, there's going to be different stages of our life. And just think about it. When you were in high school, did you look like how you look today?
No, didn't have the white beard. Didn't have. I think I developed a beard in high school, but there were times that I didn't have it. I was more clean shaven, definitely in some of the grade school years and all along those lines. And it definitely was nowhere near the shade that it is now. I remember having more of a black beard, and definitely the hair wasn't as receded as it is now. And there were other body changes, probably put on a little bit more weight because we all change our weight system as well. Need to get back in my exercise regimen and eating more healthy and everything like that. But I know that I did not look like I did now. And even as I said, I've got a nephew that's getting ready to go to college in August. He's actually trying to find a temporary job to get in between July and August. And I think he might have even landed one. I got to call my brother and see if he's landed a job or not. But he was trying to find some money to supplement whatever scholarships and other things he may get as he gets ready to go off to college. But I know for a fact, because we all have heard about the freshman 10 or the freshman 15, and that doesn't just affect women, it impacts men as well. So I'm pretty sure that he's a fairly slender guy, and I'm sure that when he gets off to college and eats that bad food, he might put on a couple of pounds and everything like that. Hopefully he'll find some way to exercise and not put on as much as we sometimes do. But I don't know how it was when you went to college over there. I think you went to Seton Hall, which is actually a rival.
Yes, for undergrad. It was different. I went to parochial school all throughout. So when I chose that, I look back now, I said, I think it was God's design, most definitely, because we had religion and now I'm on the other side. So I think that, as they say, we're always being watched. And one of the things that we always, even my dad made reference to serenity. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. You have to think you lived. Courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. And as I get to this fourth quarter of my life, I never really understand the significance of that. Reflection is very important. So what happens in self-reflection, you look at what you have gone through and you look at the growth. And as Madam Butterfly said, when the first stage of jade, it just happens. And I think that a lot of us in our lives, things just happen. It's just that how do you step back from that? And today, that was the purpose of the show. What are we waking up to? I feel that we should always be improving. As I say, the hashtag on the show is be still and know. What does that mean to you? Be still and know. Because I know for a fact, I had situations in my life that I never thought I was going to get through. So in essence, if you think about that, that was a distraction. Because even now with social media, one of the things that I try to do is not be distracted by that. Because, someone will say, oh, I saw something, why are you even worrying about that? And one of my favorite gospel groups that I like, Mary, in the one video we had posted, she said, oh, you're not in the bed with me at night. So why are we worrying about that? And I think that because I've been in the mental health field for so long, I have had to work with folks. And sometimes it's mind over matter. I think the kids used to say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Where did that come from? Did you hear that when you was little? Did you even say that, Mark?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I definitely said that, and I remember saying people would say that when they were
But did you know
little.
what it meant though? Just think about it. That's part of your foundation. Did you know what it meant?
I probably did not know what it meant at that particular time. I was probably just using it because it was a catchphrase. A lot of times we would use catchphrases that we don't
Yes.
necessarily understand and everything like that. Because that whole notion of words will never hurt me. Being a journalist, I also remember that saying, which still people use to this day, even though it doesn't make logical sense, but it does make sense in the sense that they were using it. Because I'm sure that you've heard that expression, the pen is mightier than the sword. But we know that that is
Mhm.
not physically true, but the pen does have the ability to get those words out and to get out important subjects that can either hurt or help a cause or everything like that. So even Frederick Douglass and others were talking about the pen being mightier than the sword. But that's one of them catchphrases that people use, particularly in journalism, even though we know that in reality, a sword can cut a pen up and everything like that. So in that sense, it's not mightier, but they meant it in a more of a kind of like a psychological and a philosophical way
Mhm. Of
versus
course,
the
a lot of those little sayings were philosophical, but we didn't know what
right.
it meant. But I just know that it is a self-esteem killer.
Oh yeah,
Excuse me. So that's one of the things, just, working in daycare, you just observe children and you can see how they're friends. And you have one child who may have never been outside and you can just sit and watch. And a lot of
right.
that is that you just sitting there, you observe, even with pets. I watch
Oh yeah,
my dog. I just said she is the spoilest dog that I've ever known. I call her my broke best friend because I observe her and I never would have thought. I said, what do you think in her head? So think about, remember the movie Beverly Hills Chihuahua? What did Chloe do? She really was talking to her counterparts and thought she was spoiled. Only thing
yeah.
was she was a dog and with directions. So just imagine someone's out here in the world, that's their lens. And that's just one of the things that, speaking to others, it comes into to play. That your reality is based on what you see. And I just know that now we need to wake up so that we can have self-preservation. I have made several references to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I hope folks have looked at that. I have posted on our page earlier on in the year just to look at that. Self-actualization is at the top of the pyramid. And sometimes there are things that can distract us, that can take us from our self-growth. So now as I stay connected and I say I morphed, I'm willing to share, because one of the things that I don't care for is that the insurance charges us a lot. And again, if you have something that happens in your life, they do have things that you can do, but however, some people don't want to talk to folks. So we're going to get into this. Jay no longer justifying, arguing, defending, and explaining. So I'm going to say one of my Jade moments this week was with my healthcare. So basically, we have a new renewal. As you know, that normally the insurance goes from January to December. Well, guess what? I had a weird awakening. I had a surgery. So now everything that I paid, it goes away. So as of May the 1st. So I'm arguing, explaining with my insurance company. I said, really? I said, I don't understand this. I said, I have a deductible. You're going to tell me I have to pay this. So think about that. You are okay, then your insurance company changes. You have to change your whole life. But guess what? That became to me a distraction, a complete distraction. Why am I paying all this money and now it doesn't count? So that was something that I had to say, you know what? I don't want to be jaded today. So I had to sit back, say a prayer, and move forward. So now I'm working through that. But the thing was, I thought my life was over for a moment. Because think about it. We all find out things and we want to be peaceful. But you know what? Let's hit that video. So the next part of this is a video about peace. I posted it earlier, but I just wanted to let you guys hear this as we wait for the other guests to come in, because we don't want to take too much of your time. As you see, I'm melting. Look at this. I
Yeah, you're
am at
so
an
we'll put
event.
the video right now
We're gonna
and
play that
everything like
second video, and then we're gonna get some reflections on that, because right now I am burning up. Thank you, Mark.
that. So let's play this video right now.
God rarely called people who felt ready. Moses didn't feel ready. Jeremiah didn't feel ready. Gideon didn't feel ready. Esther didn't feel ready. Peter didn't feel ready. Yet God still called them, because confidence grows while you walk. Faith grows while you obey. Strength grows while you move. And perhaps one reason God brought you into July is to teach you that readiness is often discovered on the journey, not before it. Another instruction I sensed strongly is this: protect your focus. The second half of the year has already begun.
And the enemy loves distractions. Not because distractions seem dangerous, because they seem harmless. A little compromise, a little procrastination, a little laziness, a little inconsistency, a little drifting. But small distractions create large delays. Think about Nehemiah. When he was rebuilding the wall, people repeatedly tried to pull him away from his assignment. And his response was powerful. I am doing a great work and cannot come down. What if that became your mindset in July? When distractions appear, I cannot come down. When unnecessary drama appears, I cannot come down. When temptation appears, I cannot come down. When fear appears, I cannot come down. Because God is calling many believers into a season of unusual focus. The next instruction may be the hardest one. Forgive quickly. Do not carry bitterness into the second half of the year. Bitterness feels powerful, but it is expensive. It drains peace, drains joy, drains spiritual sensitivity, drains strength, and many people are asking God for a new season while carrying old wounds. But healing often begins where forgiveness begins. July may be the month God asks you to release what you've been carrying, not because they deserve it, because you deserve freedom. And then there is one final instruction I believe God is speaking. Prepare for what you've been praying for. This is important because many people pray for opportunities they are not preparing for. Pray for promotion, but avoid growth. Pray for increase, but avoid responsibility. Pray for open doors, but never get ready to walk through them. What if the answer is closer than you think? What if God is waiting for your preparation to match your prayer? What if July is a preparation month? A month where God is building capacity, building character, building discipline, building faith, building wisdom, preparing you for what is coming next. Because when God answers a prayer, He doesn't just want to bless you. He wants you to be ready to sustain the blessing. That's why preparation matters. And that's why this month matters. Not because there is magic in July, but because there is purpose in obedience. Every month becomes significant when it is surrendered to God. Every season becomes meaningful when it is aligned with His will. And every instruction becomes powerful when it is obeyed. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us into the 7th month. Thank you for every lesson, every victory, every challenge, and every moment that has brought us this far. Lord, we do not want to move through July on autopilot. We want to hear your voice. We want to know your instructions. We want to walk in alignment with your will. Father, wake up every area of our lives that has become spiritually sleepy. Restore our hunger for you. Restore our passion for prayer. Restore our love for your word. Restore our sensitivity to your voice. Help us finish what you have called us to finish. Help us release what you have told us to release. Help us trust you with what we cannot control. Give us courage where fear has been holding us back. Give us focus where distractions have been stealing our attention. Give us discipline where inconsistency has slowed us down. Prepare us for every opportunity, blessing, assignment, and season you have ahead of us. May July be a month of obedience, a month of alignment, a month of completion, a month of spiritual awakening, a month where we hear you clearly and follow you boldly. And may your favor rest upon every person listening. In Jesus' name, amen. If this message spoke to you and you're choosing to walk in obedience this July, write, "Lord, I am ready," in the comments. I also want you to take a moment after this video and ask yourself, what is the one instruction God has been repeating to me that I need to obey this month? Write it down, pray over it, and most importantly, act on it. Because breakthrough often begins where obedience begins. And if you're serious about making the next 90 days count, don't forget to download our free 90-day reset planner below. It will help you build consistency in your prayer life, strengthen your daily disciplines, track your goals, and stay focused on the things God has called you to do. Sometimes transformation doesn't happen because we lack desire. It happens because we lack direction and consistency. That's exactly why we created it for you. Also, if you've been struggling with anxiety, restless nights, overthinking, or simply want to end each day in God's presence, be sure to get your copy of Bedtime Scriptures for Christian Women. This beautiful devotional is designed to help you finish every day with peace, God's promises, and powerful nighttime prayers that strengthen your faith while you sleep. The links are waiting for you below. Thank you for spending this time with me. May July be a month of divine alignment. May God give you clarity where there has been confusion, peace where there has been anxiety, direction where there has been uncertainty, and courage where there has been fear. Remember, God's greatest blessings are often hidden inside His simplest instructions. Listen carefully, obey.
Thank you, Mark, for that.
Yeah.
As you know, that was one of the videos. If you want the complete video, is on the Butterfly Room page on Facebook. But there is something that I like to give you applied learning. Again, I know that working with individuals in group settings, this is something that everybody can take, because I know for me, I need to start my day with some positivity. Reading my books at night, I can tell that when I read at night and I wake up in the morning, I feel fresh. So basically what this is saying, that we have made it through half this year. As we stated here, the Butterfly Room is for healing. It's not just for anyone that may have had any substance abuse. Mental health is for us all. And I think that we have to check into our own mental health. One of the other things that we were talking about, can you pop that picture up, Mark? I want to go into that picture of some changes are forever. If you can pop that up,
get that picture up and try to get it up shortly. So if you give me a second to keep
because basically what happens is, in the last part, the butterfly does not reject the cocoon. And when you think about jade, when you first start, when the butterfly goes through the process of becoming an adult, it just happens. And then from there, that means that the purpose is once it goes through the cocoon, it's going to come out anew. So what we were doing with this particular platform is just saying how our lives are set. Every decade of our life, there is going to be change. You think you go to grade school, you graduate, you go to the next level. The hardest level, I would say, is adulthood. I thought it was going to be easy peasy. I did not care for high school. There was a lot of pressure. I had goals in my life. You could say we had a strategic plan. So I'm thinking, once you raise the children, you're done. No, you're not. That means that you have to start all over again, because now you have this new shell. Once you raise children and you come out into this world, especially today, you have to have healthy boundaries. You have to decide what truly matters. And that's where peace comes in. As I've been speaking about this week on the platform, there's a lot of posts that I had about peace. You have to think about it. And in my capacity as a QA director, I read a lot of incidents. So when I say that this platform was on my heart, because I hear stuff at work currently, then when I actually was in group therapy, then you see the news. So when you listen to all of that, the world is in disarray right now. If anyone that is a believer, this platform is just not for the believers, for anybody that believes there's a supreme being, there's a creator for us. How do we get here? So I'm not going to slack anyone. As I said the other week with a group, they said, I don't have a higher power. And one of my clients said, my son. So think about it, your legacy. You want your legacy. Why are you making all this money for it not to go anywhere? So I think that, it all comes into the saying, we're here for a reason. So now I think that for the rest of our days, we should be purposeful, right? What's it saying? Purpose-driven life? You believe in that, Mark?
Yeah, I definitely believe in a purpose-driven life and everything like that. And part of what they were saying in that last video that we were watching is this notion of the second half of a year. Because definitely we know that July 1st, and that was actually my birthday and everything like that, that is also the end of the fiscal year, June 30th, and the beginning of a new fiscal year. So a lot of people, whether it's on the financial side or other side, will be finding ways to think about what they're going to do as we get ready to head in this hot summer months, but we also get ready to head into the like fall and winter months as well, because a lot of times people are concerned about what's going on in their life and how their life is being impacted by a number of things that are going on in the way that they are being treated and everything like that. So I can definitely relate to what was being said and all along those lines, because a lot of times people are sitting there going like, wait a minute, how can I deal with this as well? Because a lot of times we're sitting there going like, we've only got through half of the year, but we still got to get through the rest of the hot summer, get through fall, and then we know winter can have its own frustrations. And of course, we all have our seasons where we have to examine what's going on in our lives and the changes that are going on in our lives. Some people might have had job changes, to your point earlier, and some people may have had other changes in their life as well. Because a lot of times we don't know what God and what the Most High will bring into our life and all along those lines. Because I don't know, like I said earlier, I think they're saying that this heat wave we're having is supposed to last through, I think they said we may get a break on Monday or Tuesday, and this has been one of the longest heat waves we've had. It's been like 5 or 6 days of this crazy
But
heat
you know
wave.
what the blessing is? We didn't have to deal with this last summer. Remember, we didn't really know what it is. So that right here, I'm gonna be grateful. And I think that we need to have the gratitude attitude, right? But I think that we're spoiled. We're Americans, we're spoiled. There's folks who don't even have this. But little by little, you know, I look at life and I can say that, you know, my goal is, now that I don't have any grandchildren as of yet, what am I going to do in my days? Take those inventories. I know we spoke about that. Because right now, what do you think your life is going to be before retirement? My goal is to be on an island somewhere, writing books and just experiencing that I made it here. Because now I'm seeing folks passing away, and I never thought that I would be seeing that. But that's how you know we're seasoned, but we look good. So can you pull up that picture up?
I'm trying to get that picture up. It's having difficulty. You know, sometimes technology
Okay.
doesn't want to cooperate the way we want it to. So if you'll just be patient, we will get that picture up and everything. But sometimes
And I don't know where Madam Butterfly. Did Madam Butterfly pop in yet? Because I see her in the backstage. I just want
I
to see.
see her in the backstage, but I don't see her in the room. It looks like she might still be, because I know she said that her was it her husband that had fixed dinner for her, so she might be.
Yeah, I know. So I just know. I told her we're going to be doing a short show today. But basically, I'm just happy that I'm here. I'm recovering. And again, that wake up aspect is, what are we doing with our lives? How can I make a difference? But the whole thing is that one of the things that I noticed, that I have to be with like-minded people. So that's another thing that I wanted to highlight today, because if you think about it, if you're geeked out and you're talking about something, what's the Pythagorean theorem? Somebody may not know what that means. Okay. So from there, you need to be around folks that know what that is, because they'll look at you and then sometimes you get dismissed. So that's one of the things that I think that I had to learn to be have a little bit more softness in my voice, especially if I have a long day and I'm a little cranky. Now I know I get cranky. In this heat, I know I can get cranky. Definitely so. So just cue me when you come up with that picture, because I definitely want to talk about that. But one of the things that I was thinking about when I spoke about self-esteem killers, one of the things that we have to understand, and I can say that with just talking to individuals in a group setting, and there's certain words that you have to learn people's love language. And that's something that folks don't want to talk about, meaning that how do you communicate? So you have to think, I think the easiest one when I say love language is, say you have a partner. You're sitting there talking to the person. You may know there's certain things they may not want you to do, but we don't always be able to explain what we're speaking of. What are you doing? What's going on?
I had to switch computer.
I said, wait a minute. Look like you had a twin. I said, well, wait a minute.
I had to switch computers so we can see if we can get Madam Butterfly and others in there as well.
Oh,
so
yeah,
hopefully
4 people. Okay, now you see it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I know folks are trying to make it happen, because I'm over here melting over here, and this thing is not working for me, and I think it's about to die. So what happened? You can't bring them in? That's what the issue is?
Yeah, there's some computer technology issues, but I'm still trying to work on it and everything like that. So we're going to make it happen one way or the other, even if I got to bring it up the way that I did that other picture and everything like that. So just keep talking and keep sharing.
I know, but we need the guests to come in, because I'm sitting here, I'm melting. I feel like, what's it, from Wizard of Oz? I'm melting. You see this?
You feel like you're melting? You feel like you're melting?
I'm carrying menopause on top. See, men don't go through what we go through, Mark. I don't understand. That's a change. Because women, I know that I don't want to be cranky, but now I'm about to get cranky when I look, the fan don't want to work. I don't know about the fan here. Definitely so.
Well, hold on a second.
Okay, I got another one. So
And
basically, some
I just put
changes
that
are
up
forever.
there. Right.
Some changes are forever. The butterfly never returns to the cocoon, not out of pride, but because some transformations make it impossible to return. That's basically the nail in the coffin. We need to wake up, work on that change. Think about what you have thought about in your life. For me,
Right.
my strategic plan is peace. Peace is my focus. I want to live my days out long. I don't want to be stressed. And when I say application of jade, justification can give you heart problems,
Oh yeah.
arguing, defending, explaining. Why are we doing that? Even at work. Sometimes I know my mom used to say, guess what? It's not your car. Let them push it or pull it. What does that mean? So that's something I used to hear with the old ladies, the older women from Mississippi talking about these little things. I guess they was in there in the fields doing everything because they were sharecroppers. And I just sat back and listened. But I think as I laugh sometimes, I said I was a kid trying to figure out these word problems, and I couldn't answer them until I got into my 40s. In my
Yeah.
40s.
Yeah. Into your
Isn't that
40s.
insane? In my
I was trying to
40s?
see. I was trying to see if Madam Butterfly was around, but she might still be grubbing and eating and all on those lines. But I do have to teach you about this fan that you have, which is one of those portable fans that is blowing and trying to keep you cool and everything like that. But I was actually running across, I think it was because we were doing some archive work with our Haytide Center, the cultural center that I work at and everything like that. And we ran across those old church fans. So I just wondered, when you were growing up, did your church have those old church fans where you would literally be sitting there waving and doing the whole church fan
And
thing
you know
while
what?
the
And
minister?
I was using one last week at the church. I was sitting there just a fan, and this is the new thing. The only thing is that they died. Okay,
Right.
they died. But you know, pretty much, I just really want to focus on that for the listeners. If you are a butterfly, you're just new to this page. It happens in four stages. So don't be dismayed. Your life may
Right.
seem that it's unmanageable right now. It will get it together. Because I can say, Mark, the most tragic thing that happened in your life at that time, did you think you was gonna get through it?
No, I mean, I've had all kinds of tragedies. I've had relationships that were not all that successful and everything like that. And I thought that that was the, frustrating, whether it was a romantic relationship or whether it was a friend relationship and all in that space. I've actually lost the loved ones, including some loved ones that I have regrets about, because sometimes, you want to plan things when people pass. I did make it to my aunt's homegoing and all along those lines and everything like that. But I had another relative. I think it was one of my great uncles that I was hoping to make it to his homegoing service, because he was a friend of mine and admired a lot of the same music that I admired. And I was supposed to do a tape for him that I never got done and everything like that. But there was some miscommunication, I think, between me and my younger brother. So I did not make it to that particular service and everything like that. And there was another one that I didn't make it to that was a dear friend of mine. And that was because of a relationship situation, because it was dating a jealous woman. And all along those lines, jealousy can be a problem. And she had me feeling a certain kind of way about guilt and other things along those lines. So she basically talked me into not wanting to go to that particular service, even though it was one of my best friends when we were youngsters. And I think he passed when he was like in his, I want to say 20s or something like that. But at the time I was dating a young lady, and she was doing that whole guilt trip thing and all along those lines. So I did not make it to his service. So yeah, there's some things that in my life I wish I had done differently that I did not do for whatever reasons.
And yeah, and thank you for sharing that, because sometimes men do not want to share. And I know they're just talking to some men and say, oh no, I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. And that's where you have to be optimistic and not pessimistic. So I believe in love. And if it's meant to be, it'll be. But I think that we all need to focus on ourselves and what
Right.
our triggers are. Sometimes we don't want to admit it. So basically, by you saying it out loud, my thing is, once I'm over it, I can say it out loud. I've lived through it, right? Right?
It's
Ryan,
funny.
I'm going to be accountable for myself. I'm not going to justify. I have someone here. We have Queen Dawn in the room. She's listening to the show for the first time. She made some. Did you see a message on YouTube? She wrote something. Did you see that? Because I
I'm
didn't
gonna look
lie.
and see if
Yeah,
I see it, but Madam Butterfly
yeah.
is here and everything like that. But before we get to the comments, and I'll see if I can pull it up. I was talking to another coworker, because we've had a lot of changes in the cultural center in terms of new people coming in and the old people leaving. But we have a new accountant, a new bookkeeper, and all along those lines. And I was talking to her because she is a older woman. I think, well, younger than me, but older than some of the other staff. She's probably, I think she said in her mid 50s, so like around 56 and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And I was telling her how a lot of times I do not mind. Keeping up with people that the relationships have gone south. Like for whatever reason, the relationship might have gone south, but I will still stay, in some cases, friends with the exes. Not saying in all cases, but in some cases, I would stay friends with the exes. But this particular young lady who is our accountant was basically like, nah, when I'm done, I'm done. I am not trying to go back in anything like that. So she's basically like, when I'm done, I'm done. I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm not trying to be your sidekick. I'm not trying to be anything. When I say I'm done, it's over and done. So I just wanted to, and maybe Madam Butterfly's got some thoughts around this. I mean, it sounds like she's got a very successful husband who just fixed her dinner and everything like that. But
I
if you
know,
were
but
to be in,
she left us for a while. I'm sitting here.
but if you were to be in a relationship with it, with what is your thoughts? Because I was thinking to myself that sometimes these relationships may not be for romantic purposes. They may have other reasons that you need to stay in those friendships and everything like that. I mean, I've got an ex that's getting me on their board because they're creating an artistic organization and everything like that. But I don't think there's any strong possibility of us ever being romantic friends again. But I don't mind serving on her board since we both have that common interest and everything like that. But I just wanted your take around this notion of like I'm done when I'm done when I'm done I'm done.
Hi, Madam Butterfly. She on mute. She can take herself off mute.
Yeah, you're on mute.
Can you unmute her? You have to hit the little thing.
I got
There
it.
you
I
go.
just said, I wish I had a piece of paper so I could write all these things down. But I am going to try to itemize as I hear you. Number one, you have to know where you stand in a relationship.
Right.
My dear sweet little sister, as I call her sometimes, you have to set the boundaries. I'm just learning that at my age. Someone else told me, she told me, you have to understand if you are in the relationship to be a mutual love relationship, or you have to figure out, are you there to heal? And as women, we don't realize if we're in a relationship to heal. We meet a wonderful guy, and he's got it all going on, but he may seem like he's got it all going on because he's come out of something really crazy. Especially a man who's divorced or who has come out of a bad relationship, and he'll tell you, man, my last girl, she was this, that, she was high maintenance. Well, that's a red flag. If he says to you she was high maintenance, pack up your bag and go. Because no, seriously, because that's telling you that he has a particular view about how you should be. You may not be high maintenance, but he's already got a stereotype of how his woman should be. And it's going to make it difficult for him to see you clearly. He's going to label you from the beginning. But back to deciding whether or not you're a healer or not. There are some men you need to realize whether or not you're going to be a healer. If you're looking for someone to be your life partner, then you've got to lay that down from the beginning. If you're looking for someone like my stepdaughter, she was looking for someone to give her a child. And when she found a couple of guys, the man she's married to now, one of the things she said from the beginning, she asked him, "Are you fixed?"
I appreciate the honesty, though. You want honesty is the best policy, they say.
I was a little aggressive, but I told him what she wanted and her focus. And what was very interesting, this man had 3 children, and he said, "I thought I was done." But my point was, she knew what she wanted, and she wasn't going to waste time with someone doing all the courtship kind of thing. So she set her boundaries clear and firm, and that's something that we women don't do. We go and we play the courting game.
Leave it alone.
And mature age, and that's what I'm going to say, and that could be whatever age you as yourself consider a mature age, you need to set your boundaries and decide why you're there. The other thing, as you were talking, Mark, is that with doing that, that tells you what you can do with your ex.
Right.
You know, you can be that's going to tell you whether you can be friends or you're not going to be friends.
Right.
And what kind of ex? If you're coming out of a marriage relationship and there are no children involved, you may not want to be friends for anything. And if
But
there's children involved,
transparency is not always there, though, Madam Butterfly.
exactly, that's true. The transparency may not always be there, and that leads me to my other thing. You may not always supposed to be in the room, and sometimes we don't always clearly see. And I'm struggling with that right now. Whether or not we're supposed to be in the room, and I've taken my JADE and turned it into an acronym to help me.
You ready for us now? We waited for you now because we wanted you.
I know.
You were
figure out whether I'm
today.
supposed to be in the room.
But tell Q thank you for he had to take care of you, so we understand. We're going to give you a pass today.
Okay. and for a number of
can
reasons,
you let us have it because we opened up with the life application and we actually talked about it, but now we need to give you you have to give us a tune-up. We need the tune-up of Jade, please.
You want to
before
see
we
how
close the show because I am melting over here. I'm literally melting.
I'm in the room. I'm in the hot room because there's no air conditioning in this room.
Wow.
And I left the air. Oh, an update. With the FIFA. Cape Verde, and we have a large community up here in Massachusetts of Cape Verdeans out on the Cape. Cape Verde is in the elimination round, and they're playing Argentina.
Right.
And Argentina won it last year. It is tied 1-1. This is not.
All right, well, we're gonna get you done. So let's get ready so we can wrap up. We said about an hour. We told the viewers everybody is busy. We're hot. So can you give us a tune-up on Jay so we can get ready to get on out of here today?
So Jay can also determine whether or not you're supposed to be in the room. And sometimes we always think we're supposed to be in the room. We're not. If you have to juggle reasons why you're in that room, no, that's wrong. You shouldn't have to juggle while you're present. If you're totally analyzing what you're doing while you are in that room, no, you should not be in that room. If your direction, if your decisions are jumbled, there are constantly producing results that are divisive, you are not supposed to be in that room. Okay? And if there's no explanation to what the end result of what you put forth and you share in that room, you are not supposed to be in that room. And most of all, if you're in that room and you're uncomfortable and nobody is appreciating what you're sharing, stand up, smile, and say, I need to get a drink of water and get the hell out of there. You're not appreciated. You're not wanted. It's not your place. Stop trying to do the tap dance and stay. And all the signs are there that it's not your place and you're being used or consumed. I won't say used. You're being consumed. And for us as women of color, we get to that stage. There's several stages. But we have a stage where our bodies are telling us that we are in a constant state of fight or flight. We never get that smoothness. And when we're in rooms like that, we're constantly on. Our bodies never get, it's like a rubber band that never gets back to its normal state. You want to be stretched, but it needs to come back to the normal state. Get out of the room.
Thank you for that. Waking up, and that's the topic of the show. Wake up. Thank you so much, Madam Butterfly, for putting it on the money.
Yeah, speaking of waking up, and I was just going to add to something that Madam Butterfly said, and I'd love to hear her thoughts about that, because I do agree that sometimes we overuse that term high maintenance and everything like that, particularly us gentlemen, and particularly those gentlemen of color and all along those lines. But there are some people that are high maintenance, because I know that I've told this story before and everything, because my mom still teases me about one of my exes. I've been fortunate enough to be now, as of July 1st, on this planet for 64 years. I would love to be here for another 64 years, even though that's not probably going to happen, because that would be 128. And we know many people don't
You
live
never
to be that. Many people don't live to be that old, but one never can tell and everything like that. But think I've told in this story, and I know I've told it on the other show, Dr. Diamond Show. There was a young lady that came to my mom's house, and mom has a decent house. I mean, it's not extravagant. It's not like a mansion or anything like that. And she looked at the picture. She looked at mom's fancy artwork, and she proceeded to say out loud, "Hey, Mark, this is going to be our house one day." And mom was very healthy at the time. Mom was probably in her 50s or 60s, and all along those lines at the time that she made that statement, because mom's now in her 80s and everything like that. So I'm going like that. In that case, that would be a high maintenance woman, because she was basically laying claim to this property that was not hers to lay claim to, because she was dating me at the time. So she was basically like, I'm going to, and mom was in earshot. So mom still teases me about this to this day. She's like,
Well,
yeah, I remember
ladies,
that.
listen
that
to Mark.
wasn't
If you like them, just don't say it out loud, because now look at that. It could have been misconstrued.
that wasn't high
However,
maintenance. That was
yeah.
rude and
Yes.
Yes, that was very
presumptuous.
rude. I
That
don't
was rude
understand
and
that. You
presumptuous.
like the person, but that means that she was trying to manifest that ring in that future house with you. I don't think I would want to do
And
that.
on
You
her
weren't
part,
there yet. You weren't there yet.
she wasn't smart. That was
No.
that was low maintenance, because she wasn't smart. There were other phrases that she could have used. She could have, I like your mom's style. I could learn a lot from her.
Yes.
That would have gotten her a lot further.
I agree.
Time
A
over
lot
here.
further.
Yeah, and I don't want to
Iron
rush it,
sharpens iron.
yes, thank you so much, because I'm melting over here, and I know you said you were in the room, and it's just what it is. And thank you for this, because we just wanted a recap, and this is something that we're going to touch base on, because I was speaking to one of the listeners here, Dawn, and she was saying accountability. And I don't know, Mark, did you see her comment on YouTube? I know I mentioned that. I see it because it didn't pop up. I see a comment. Did it pop up?
It did not pop up. I did not see it in the chats.
Okay, well, basically what she was saying, Queen Dawn was speaking of, she loves the acronym because it speaks of accountability. When you're actually dealing in relationships. And I think that what she was alluding to was that when you're in a relationship and you're arguing with someone, you don't want to be jaded. Why am I justifying this love? Why am I arguing with you if we love each other? Why am I defending this relationship? Because obviously for us to be speaking like this, there needs to be some accountability. And explaining
for yourself.
Oh, we have her. She
That's
said
where the growth comes in. Accountability to yourself. Never mind
Exactly.
anybody else. Accountability to yourself. Stop being defensive. Stop. That's the springboard to growth. You can't grow unless you face
Exactly.
these demons. Don't be afraid of them.
no, and you
Look
have
at
to.
'em. You got that's the springboard to change. I really appreciate that. It was a brilliant acronym, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. All surmised in one acronym. It's brilliant. Thank you for that.
See, we
Queen
have
Dawn,
another queen here. Yes. She's on
it's
location.
it's also the springboard to leave. So many times we're in a relationship and can't is the wrong word, but we think that leaving starts with packing a bag. But leaving starts with the realization, and as you use the word, I like the word accountability to oneself. When you when you stop making the excuses and start jading, like, why am I doing all this? And look at that reality. That's the bag you pack, and then you can move on.
Because when you spend all your time in a breakup, focusing on what they did wrong, you get that. Never mind that. That's not going to help you. What's going to help you is you saying, what could I have done differently? And now, it might have been their fault, but what could I have done differently? That's where you start to make a change.
And that's when Jay comes in, because a lot of times there are two sides of the coin. And I think that as you mature, people don't want to be accountable. I have been in situations where there was contact, and a lot of times I'm a private dater. And usually what I look at now, I don't do clown behavior. I was speaking to someone who I appreciate and I admire. They said, you know what, as a man, I don't play games like that. Even like my father was on the show, he said, I like to conversate. And I watch my father. I think sometimes what happens is when you're dating, you look at someone's behavior. However, and I stated to him, I said, did you learn something from that? He said, some of the bad stuff rubbed off on me. And now me growing up, and I say, if we're talking about relationships, we need to wake up to that, because what was good for a high schooler, a college age person is not good for an adult. That's when we need to wake up and say, you know what? I am not justifying myself arguing, defending, and explaining, because real love does not equate that. And I appreciated my father for sharing that. He said, you know, I'm a conversationalist. And I said, well, Dad, after the show, I appreciated you for saying that, because sometimes conversation could be a problem. So what I said, okay, I'm not going to be jaded. And sometimes we should not take those conversations. We should not respond to different communications, because at the end of the day, that means it's circus behavior. And I am no longer doing circus behavior. I am not a clown. So that's why I said, let's wake up and do what we need to do. And as now 8 o'clock, 8 to 9, we got to get ready to wrap it up, because folks are coming into where I am. And as you can see, everything is changing. So I want to thank everyone today for that. And I'm going to get into the closing remarks. As we stated, sometimes we have to accept the changes that happen and not go backwards. And today I wanted to close with this song. I was talking with some of the young folks before we get into the closing remarks. But I wanted to say, our faith is under construction. I had shared that earlier today, and I wanted to dedicate that song to my son Ty and the young folks, because I think that as we go through this process of not becoming jaded, we have to wake up and understand where we are. And there's going to be good and bad days. And I thank everyone for speaking today before we go into the closing remarks. But I wanted to just talk about my son before I get into my closing remarks. But Butterfly, we're gonna start with you today. I know that you popped in, you had some good nourishment. So what are your closing remarks of today on Wake Up, as we apply application of jade to that, so that we can wake up and that we can be productive and work on that peace era that I am searching for daily?
I think for me, and you just struck it, you said our faith is under construction. For me, at my age, my faith is not under construction. What's under construction for me is that to remind myself that I have the faith of a mustard seed. It's been in me since I was a small child, and that is there to constantly reach back and fortify myself. I've shared with you earlier this week, I've had some, I'm not even going to call it tragedies. I've had some wake up calls, and I consider it God.
And that's what we said, wake up.
And yeah, God's mistake. So he was talking about my mother. She said, well, you know, there changes come. It just needs you, God, what did she say? God is reordering your steps. And I said to her, well, I guess I need some new pair of shoes. And she said, you got it, go get them. And that's it. The faith steps out onto something new. Stop getting so comfortable in where you are. And that means that room that you're in, which you're not supposed to be in. Get out, go on, step out. And since I've talked to you, you know what? It's not you, girl. You know, take the leap, move on, wake up. There's something out there. He's got you in everything you do. We believe, so act like it.
Yes, thank you for that, because we're connected. However, some folks may not. And that's why I said I wanted to say wake up, because some people need a push. So every day as I speak to people, work in the community, sometimes somebody needs a push. And I thank you today for giving us a check-in on Jade. Now, Mark, what are your closing words for today?
Well, one thing, sometimes the underdog does not always win. So I hate to tell you this, but I did check the score, Madam Butterfly, and it does look like even though they were the underdogs, that Cape Verde did not pull it off, even though I was looking for them to win, and it was a close match and everything like that. So I was rooting for them and was hoping it's over.
It just
3-2.
scored.
It's 3-2.
So thank you for sharing all of that. Anything else, Mark, before? Because like I
No,
said, I'm
but
melting over
the
here.
wake up is very important, and all along those lines. So it is definitely important for people to wake up because a lot of people are walking around in a daze and not understanding what they're going through, whether that's their job situation, whether that's their romance situations, whether that's a number of other situations that exist, and all along those lines. And definitely, you take some time to enjoy yourself. I know a lot of people are paying attention, as I have been, to the World Cup and all along those lines. So I did see that Egypt beat Australia, and I did see that the other match just concluded, and we've got another tough match. So I don't know who to root for in Ghana against Colombia, but I think Colombia will probably come out okay, even though Ghana's going to be a tough match as well. But definitely in this hot weather, we've got to find ways to maintain some sanity, because we do know that sometimes hot weather can cause people to be irritable as well. So definitely that's the other thing we got to be careful about is stay hydrated, but also don't let it impact your personality, because we do know that sometimes negative weather can impact the way that we feel, both emotionally as well as physically and mentally. So I do know that sometimes they say that in these hot weather situations, people are quicker to have their fuse lit. So I'll just put it that way, that we have to be cautious and not let the irritant weather or other irritants impact us in such a way that we are being volatile. And I'll just put it that way, because I think that we can sometimes be a little bit too volatile when we are feeling frustrated by things we can't control. Because as we've been saying in this wake up call, we're not in control. The man above, the God, is in control, and all along those lines. So we can't control the weather. We can't control a lot of things. We might be able to control some of the things that our peers do, but in job situations, but we cannot control what the weather is going to do or some of the other things that we have no control over. So I'll just leave it at that, is don't be irritated by things that you have no control over.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Right.
Yeah, so my closing words, because I have one of my books. It is Prayers and Promises for Women. This has been a journey for me, and I just know that I'm here for a purpose. It started off Rocky. My dad shared that, so folks know a little bit more about me before my memoir comes out. But today I chose the topic "Wake Up" because we want to make sure that you're applying J to your life. You are no longer justifying, arguing, defending, and explaining. So now I'm going to read something from encouragement, and this is just from 2 Corinthians 13:11. Be joyful, grow to maturity, encourage each other, live in harmony and peace. Then God of love and peace will be with you. And here I wanted to say is, God, your word brings us much encouragement. No matter what I am up against, there is a source of strength, comfort, and wisdom. And as we work through this, as Madam Butterfly says, watch the rooms that you're in. Our goal is to protect our peace. The fourth stage of the butterfly, it comes out to the adult butterfly. And we don't want confusion. As we talk about these ABCs, when you are in the wrong few rooms, that's when the confusion and conflict comes. Those are the things to remove. Anything that's a C, just think about it. C's are not good. So we're going to exit out. We don't want conflict or anything like that. We're going to be around like-minded people. And again, thank you for coming out with us today. The song here that we're going to listen to is for the young folks. My son is on the brink, and I'm trying to educate him so that he can stay in the light, be peaceful. Because, as young kids, there's a lot of adversity that they're going to experience. And as you know, customarily, we like to end the show with a song. So this song is for the young folks. And as I spoke to folks, as I mentioned earlier today, we want you to live life and understand that you don't have to be so caged up, but just understand that each of you have a purpose in a life. And we want you to understand, think about it, write it down, what you can see, dream again. Because I know the way the world looks now, it looks a little grim, but all three of us are different generations, and we're here today. And we know we all had plans here, right? Everyone had a plan in life. And I think your career goal, are you at your career goal? It changed. I know mine changed. I'm doing the same thing. However, it's a little different. So I'm happy with my outcome. So stay the course. Stay the course. And as we say on the Butterfly Room, be still and know. Mark, you going to take us out of here?
We're going to try to take us out of here, trying to get that video. Like I told you, we've been having technical problems all day today, and this looks like another one of those cases. So we might wind up going out.
I want to share with us, from us to everyone else, to the teenagers and the young adults you meet. Be gentle with them. They are learning to be adults. And we come at them so many times with everything except gentleness. And how else are they going to learn gentleness unless we show it to them? We may not like
Through
what they're
example.
doing or behaving. We have to be gentle in sharing our displeasure, and we can change our tone. Give them the gentle tone and share what we want them to do. But be gentle. And we can do that. That'll make all the difference in the world.
We can
Thank you so
definitely
much,
do
Madam
that.
Butterfly. Are we ready yet?
Not ready yet because I do not see that video that you sent. But like I
Because
said,
it was
technicality.
on. I emailed it to you, Faith Under Construction. That was something that we did. I thought we were ready. You said you had all three.
Yeah, and I thought I did
And
have all three, but life happens, and sometimes the
I know
computer
it's
disappears.
life, and I'm melting.
and,
Oh boy.
and so get you some lemonade
Yeah.
while he's doing that, because
Yep.
this is a lemon, and
Yep.
I'm going to go get my lemonade.
Well,
And this
thank you
is
so much,
so
Madam Butterfly, for the tune up today. And we can't wait for our next lesson. When are we gonna see you again?
um um I'm not sure, but about 2 weeks.
Okay. About two
Okay.
weeks. So
Okay.
get the lemonade, and we're going to go out with our theme song. But I will
And
find that other video, and we'll have it plugged in to the show as well, because sometimes technical difficulties happen, and that's just life. So we're
that's
going to go
just
out with
like,
our record.
and the heat won't frustrate us.
Yes, I know.
Exactly.
It's too much. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah,
Because I was
no problem.
dedicating that to my son and I wanted it on there, Mark. So next time, please let me know. Because
We'll
I'm
get
getting
And
it.
like I said,
very anal with
it,
We'll
this
it, it,
stuff.
get it.
No, I'm
it
a
will still
brat.
be on
I'm a
there.
little bit
It'll be on
bratty.
there. It'll be edited in, because that's the great thing about technology is I can edit it in as well. So like I said,
There
it'll be
you go.
edited into
Okay.
the end of it all. But we're going to go out with the butterfly room, but then I will edit it in at the end and everything like that. So
Thank
that's the
you.
thing
So now I
about
can be
technology.
happy. Now I can be
Now
happy. Because I know
you
you
can be
switched
happy.
computers. He switched computers. So maybe that's
Right.
what the problem is.
That was the problem. Exactly.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy this heat wave, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at 8. And then next week we have on the couch at 11. I know Dr. Diamond is busy, and we have the dinner party on Wednesdays on Pod TV. You can also catch the Butterfly Room on Pod TV as well. So
Yeah,
thank you
exactly.
and enjoy this, and happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th
See
of
you
July. So we're
soon.
going to go out with the butterfly room theme, get us all out of here. But I will edit that in the song dedicated to your son and all along those lines. So we'll be sure to get that in there. But yeah, computers were having a moment of technology. So it might have been the hot weather, but we're going to make it happen. So we're going to get out of here. But I will add that particular song for you probably in the next 30 minutes.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Hey.
You found a quiet corner of your mind, a shelf where all the broken things were piled. The stories told in whispers and in scars brought you here beneath these waiting stars. Not for a fix or just to soothe the ache, but for the chance that something new could break. So let the silence hold you like a seam where every thread of hope begins to gleam. This is the in-between. Welcome to the butterfly room.